Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast. Cameron Jones here, along with my co-host,
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
Per usual, sticking in the 90s for you. This time we're doing an action thriller, a forgotten one if you ask me. We're doing the 1999 film, Double Jeopardy. Framed for the murder of her husband, Libby Parsons survives the long years in prison with two burning desires sustaining her: finding her son and solving the mystery that destroyed her once happy life. Since she's already been tried for the crime, she can't be re-prosecuted if she finds him and kills him. Follow Libby as she attempts to escape from the legal system, track down her ex-husband, and find her son, all while the law is hot on her heels. Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones, Double Jeopardy.
The suspense is palpitating. What's happening next?
You know, it was what I thought was a sophisticated 90s action thriller, but it turns out I was 9 when I saw it the first time.
Directed by Bruce Beresford, starring Tommy Lee Jones, Ashley Judd, Bruce Greenwood.
Does this movie have a realistic depiction of the law or physics and holding your breath underwater? No, but is it entertaining? Yes.
It's got seething revenge.
It's got New Orleans. Double Jeopardy.
All right, cast and crew. Double Jeopardy, 1999 film directed by Bruce Beresford.
Fun name.
Maybe just don't know a lot of his movies. I just haven't seen.
The
I
name
looked it
doesn't
up.
ring a bell.
He's been directing stuff since the 70s.
Okay.
He's got probably about 40 credits to his name, and all I really knew, and this is no insult to him, was this and Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, well, that's another
That's
big
what
credit.
I wrote down.
Yeah.
That's what it says he's most known for. So
Huh.
Yeah. And then he has like 44
38
other
other movies.
Mm-hmm.
On to cast, Tommy Lee Jones plays. He's top billed, but he doesn't even come in until like 30, 40 minutes into the movie.
Batman Forever, Two-Face, that's where he lives in my nostalgic young boy heart. But
Agent K for me, or like Chip Hazard for
The Fugitive,
Small Soldiers.
I mean, was huge for him.
I think The Fugitive is where he got one of his big breaks, obviously later on in life. Coal Miner's Daughter, I think before that.
Cowboys.
But it's so interesting that this is like the wheelhouse where I know him. Like
Yeah.
96 to 2000.
I mean, same for me. And someday we will do Space Cowboys, Mark.
Go back and listen to Small Soldiers.
Makes a comeback though, like in Lincoln, right? A little later role in his life, he plays.
True.
He's not Lincoln,
Maybe-
though, is he?
No.
No, that'd be
That'd be hilarious.
that'd be pretty sweet. It'd be Tommy
That
Lee
would be
Jones.
pretty
as Lincoln.
funny.
But it was ever he's playing does have like a wig, and you're like, that's Tommy Lee Jones.
Ashley Judd plays Libby, the accused. Wrongly accused.
I mostly know her from this movie and just being Ashley Judd of the famous Judd family.
That's exactly where I know her from, is just from the family. Because I don't know Bug. I don't know Kiss the Girls. I guess I know Heat a little bit, but I don't know
This was definitely
most
just
notable stuff.
This was definitely the big movie for me that stuck out. Well, it's a big movie for me for her that, you know.
I thought I was going to know more as well, but it turns out I saw this movie when I was 12 or whenever this came out, and it was this. Naomi Judd is her mom.
Naomi.
Wynonna Judd is her sister, and a half-sister, and I think they're both deceased. Right?
Ashley Judd? No.
No. Naomi and Winona. Winona just
yes,
died.
put that, yes.
Yeah, Naomi died in 2022.
The kid doesn't appear to be anybody. Benjamin Weir doesn't appear to be anybody. Jay Brazu plays Bobby, the initial lawyer.
He's a 90s thing, and he always plays that kind of lawyer that just like
You know what you've seen him in
lawyer.
probably.
What's
What?
that?
He was in Watchmen, but then he also just like really loved animal movies. He was pretty much the referee or the official in every one of the Air Bud movies. He was in
He was a ref, right?
He's the ref. Dr. Doolittle, $1 Million Mutts.
Who thought we would have more credits,
animals?
More credits we recognize for this guy than Ashley Judd.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Chili dogs, snow dogs, 8 Below. I mean, this guy loved
He's
his
done it
canines.
Spencer Treat Clark. He plays the older version of Maddie, the one we see at the end, right?
Oh yeah, he's
The
familiar
son?
from something.
Yeah, he's in Unbreakable and Gladiator as.
Freckled face.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's the kid. He's the son in Gladiator.
Yeah, 1999 to 2000. Great years for Spencer Treat Clark.
Bruce Greenwood. I think is where I'm going to stop this. Bruce Greenwood plays Nick, the bad guy.
Bad guy.
He has a familiar face, but once again, it might just be because of this movie. I remember watching it as a kid. What else?
For me, it's the he's the president in National Treasure 2.
Yeah.
Book of Secrets.
Oh yeah, sure is.
That's probably not even his most notable role, but that's where I recognize him. Star Trek. He's in Star Trek.
Yeah, he's one of the command. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
That tracks.
That tracks.
Yeah.
He's Captain Kirk's.
Boss.
Oh, it's
Dad's
funny. I was
father in the
looking
movie.
just kind of down this list, like Bruce.
He's got
Campbell.
kind of resting Tom Skerritt / like Bill Pull. He's just a guy that's a round face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is one of those weeks where there's a pretty nice and concise, tight cast, and also kind of bigger names for the most part. Well, I guess just Tommy Lee Jones.
Did you get Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd?
They were in there. So we're going to move it on to Unverified. Welcome to the Cult Classic Movie Phone. It's September 24th, 1999, and currently in theaters you could have seen...
It's a great time for movies here, isn't it?
Oh, I left a lot off the list, but it is Being John Malkovich, Fight Club, Drive Me Crazy, Mystery Alaska.
You know, I got a place in my heart for that one.
Everybody does. Great name. American Beauty.
I don't have a place in my heart for that one.
Yeah, neither.
Good movie poster, though. Iconic movie poster.
Sure. Creeped me out as a kid. The movie, not the poster.
Iconic movie scene. Got the bag. Does it stand up? Nah. Didn't stand in the real time to me.
Inferno with Jean-Claude.
Is that Van Damme?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Do you know many more?
Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence.
Well, Martin Luther?
Stigmata. Shout out to our mom. She's always been real creeped out by that movie.
Stigmata.
Yeah.
Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. Underrated ghost movie I recommend we do someday.
I feel like this is some
We should do that,
this
see
is
if
like
it
a
holds
deep
up.
cut, like a deep cut month for 99. No, like if you
It's-
know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
It's that fun. We're definitely not in blockbusters anymore, so
Yep.
get the fuck out of here with those.
Sure.
And we
Kids
don't
are
have
back
any
in
holiday.
school, so let's maybe.
Well, speaking of
Yeah.
blockbusters,
You guys need something to do on the weekends, but
That's
you
right.
don't have. It's not a holiday film.
That's right.
Check out Stir of Echoes.
Last but not least, we're going to do Stir of Echo someday. Last but not least, The Matrix with Keanu. I'm not sure if we've done that
shit.
or not.
Ooh. I bet that one, if we look into it, is probably a sleeper hit. I bet they didn't expect it to become what it was.
I would
Sure.
maybe
And that's
agree
why
with
they
that.
released it. And we'll know that based off the budget. So I'll go to the budget here.
But you chose Double Jeopardy.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure I saw this in the Manchester Theater with.
No, this came to Manchester. This came to
Fuck yeah, I saw it. It probably came in 2001, maybe, but I definitely saw it. I don't know. I don't know when we got it. Maybe not 99 right off the bat, but pretty sure I saw it there.
That's right. That's right. give me some box office stuff.
And this surprised me a little. I'm like, how'd this do? $40 million budget, which is relatively low.
Sure.
Grossed cool $177.8 million.
Yeah, it didn't
No
do too bad.
Yeah.
way. It did
And I bet if we
numbies.
look at all those I bet if we look at Stir of Echoes, it's probably similar. Maybe not quite as much because
That was good too. We'll do that soon. Maybe we'll wait till fall for that one.
Tommy
But,
Lee Jones was hot at
That's
this
what I'm
time
saying. Was
in
he
his
pulling
career.
numbies at
Yeah.
that time too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
to go into that, Mark, the only fact we found online, if you want to take it.
What I have here is, despite playing the main character as the protagonist, Ashley Judd took second billing behind Tom Lee Jones. Because why, though, Cameron? Tell me why.
Oh, because he was hot. Because it was Tommy
From
Lee
what?
Jones.
Give me what he had right before this.
I mean, Batman
You got Men in
Forever
Black,
for sure.
Batman
Men in
Forever.
Black, The Fugitive.
Was Men in Black right before this?
97,
Yeah,
maybe
97.
98.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understood. Yep.
Yeah, he was riding the Lee wave.
I think that happens a lot, though. Like, Ashley Judd was the younger star. Whoever's the more known person, if they're either, he's Tommy Lee Jones obviously in the lead, but that happens a lot.
Going off that, even kind of just to show the numbers here, Tommy Lee Jones earned $10 million for this film, and Ashley Judd, who was the star, only got $1 million. And again, he doesn't show up for 30 minutes into the film. Similar to Enemy of the State. Go back and see that. Where's Gene Hackman? Like an hour in. Writing team David Weisberg and Douglas Cook are childhood friends, the writers of this film. We're busting this out together.
Oh, they did the Rock screenplay.
Oh, we should do The Rock sometime.
The two Sean Connery movies that I'm ready to do right now, you guys would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for sure, and I don't know what the other one is.
It's a movie called Finding Forrester. It's not good, but I saw it so many times on HBO. It's one of his like later. I'd probably do Indiana Jones Last Crusade.
Cool. This week was pretty light on real facts. Couldn't find a lot online. I do have some things I'll get to later in QCA about maybe some actual Jeopardy, double Jeopardy laws and how they actually work in the real world.
Do you know there's triple Jeopardy in some celebrity type games now?
Nope.
On the television show Jeopardy? It's just an extra round. They have 3 double Jeopardy throw in the round.
News to me. Crazy. But with that, we're going to move it on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments,
QCA comment. This is the most beautiful house on the earth. At the start of the movie, my God, what is that?
That's my top comment. I said that's my dream house. Sort of like a lakey, cabiny vibe, but still basically
That's on the ocean, though, right?
Ocean too,
That's
somehow?
at least like maybe
Is that an inlet of the ocean?
it's got to be an inlet. It might not be like ocean proper, but it's
Whidbey Island is in. It's off the coast of Washington.
Yeah,
The
that
state
seems
of
like it'd be that
Washington.
pretty. Yeah, that adds up.
Stunning. I'd love
as
to
long
visit.
as we're just at the front of the movie. Doesn't it feel like the perfect temperature out to be there as well?
Oh, yeah, and to add to that, they're all wearing beautiful...
What do you think it is? 71, 60, 68?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
70.
Mark, it's perfect
71.
sweater weather, and they're wearing
Sweater weather.
everyone's wearing beautiful knit sweaters in the beginning, and it made me want one.
I didn't write this down, but I seared it in my brain. It's like I'm gonna get a cream suit sometime and never wear it. Where the fuck am I gonna wear?
Maybe
a
it
cream
drops to
suit?
65 at night. You light the stogie that the rich guy buys you.
Tell you what, though, if it goes below 65, you're like, I'm gonna frame my wife for murder. It's a
Basically,
tightrope you walk there.
At that same part too, when they basically are being like, all right, close your eyes, like look off in the distance. Here's a little. It's not even that great of a sailboat, to be honest. She's like, you can't afford that. Yeah, he can. You see that fucking house he has?
Yeah, that was my thoughts. He was like, if he can afford that
That's
house,
a toy.
he can swing that boat. And number
That's
two,
a toy.
he was closing her eyes for like 45 minutes because we didn't have cell phones, and there was not a good way to time that out. Well, they said they beat
Yeah,
her
it's a
by
sailboat. A lot depends on the wind.
Yeah, that's right. She already saw it, or like it already ruined the surprise.
Oh yeah, me and Maddie
Wanted
have
to.
been watching it all afternoon. Circle the island.
I was a little underwhelmed by the boat. I agree with Mark. I'm like, I guess. Just looks like every other sailboat passing by.
You know, when you see the boat below deck in the sex scene, this is a nice interior.
I guess we're talking about the sex scene. We got a little ahead of ourselves.
Well,
but-
actually, before that, let me just say, I like that the movie
Okay.
jumps right in. So let's jump right in. Like, we don't get too much at the beginning before we're like, murder out on the boat.
Nope, we just set up. We've got money. Here's a couple of the players. Very few. Boom,
Yeah,
murder.
As you were saying, though, about the sex scene.
Oh, just caught me off guard in theaters in 1991 or 2001,
You
1999 or
see a
2001.
half
I
a
saw.
nip. I mean, it's not that. It's not.
Yeah, but
all
when you're
that.
12 years old, you're like, what the hell? How are we doing
What do we
this?
see there?
How did the Castle Theater let me in here?
They shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have.
They should not have. Well, no, it's PG-13. I think I went with somebody's parent. They sat 4 rows back, and I sat with my friend a couple
You know,
rows
I always
ahead.
thought it'd be down, like really cool to like be a sailor, own a sailboat, and but like, do I,
I thought
have
about
a little
this.
bit of seasickness? I think I do.
And the implication, Mark. See,
do I know how to sail? No, I don't.
I've thought about
That's
this.
a big one.
Having a sailboat
It's
to
a
me
big
is
one.
much like being an avid skier. I'm all about base lodge, and I'm all about dock time. Like, let's just go. Let's sit in the boat for a second. We might take it out. We might not. I don't know, but
I mean, that
That's
might be
what
the
we
best
got
thing.
Someone
cruise.
slope is already ready for a hamburger and some beers.
Yeah.
At the
I mean, yeah,
at the
like, we'll
bunny
take it
slope.
out tomorrow. It's more work than it is. Let's just stay and have a couple beers, crank them tunes.
The kitchen on the boat still works. Just get drunk on the boat. I like your style.
Jordan likes having the boat at dock the same way he likes like kind of walking around with his skis or his snowboard. Just walking around with it. Look at
I
look at
would
me.
rent skis, but like don't even rent boots to me. Just hand me
walk
2
around.
skis.
Boots
to walk
are hard to
around.
walk in.
But Jordan,
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Those boots were not made for walking.
Jordan, you're gonna want those boots slung around your shoulders, tied together. Though you want the full ambiance.
I don't think I'd lie to people. I don't think I could pull off snowboard culture, so I'd probably keep it to skis. Just be realistic. I don't even want to get in a snowboarding conversation. I don't want to get in a skiing conversation either.
Perfect.
Can I make one comment? Do you know who the real loser is in this movie?
The
The total biggest
Maddie.
loser.
Maddie, the trauma
Yeah, we'll
he
get to
has of
that.
both of his parents dying
we'll
in the
get
night.
We'll get to that. Okay. Do you know who the second biggest loser is in this movie? Probably
Libby?
Probably Libby. Okay. Do you know who the third biggest? Okay, let's go fourth. You know the fourth biggest loser
Yeah,
in this movie?
yeah, keep-
who I
yep,
felt
yep,
bad for from the moment. It's the guy who thought he was about to sell his boat, and then all of a sudden there's a murder on
drug
it.
into the
That's an
That's
evidence
not
now for
selling.
how many years you're not going to sell that boat.
Jordan, let me tie that in with
Eventually somebody will fanatically buy the murder boat, but after that,
the BMW dealer.
many
She
years
does
is-
it twice. Gets all that information from the mistress and just dips it like my sale. It's her move.
I don't think I should feel bad for somebody that has a sailboat in what looks to be,
The most beautiful place on earth.
what wealthy person in the Pacific Northwest. But I did
that
feel bad. I'm
elfish
like,
place in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it was pretty fucking magical.
Didn't know that existed in our country. Didn't.
Animosity. If you find any murder weapon, especially covered in blood, and let's say you might be the only person in mile vicinity, don't pick that up. Don't touch it.
We'll kick it right off the goddamn ship because that Coast Guard boat came in hot, right out of the mist.
quick. I'm assuming she was drugged with the wine. We never seemed tested for that or ever really
yeah.
said. But good timing on the poisoning. She wakes up perfectly to get arrested.
I guess the biggest question is, okay, we know how this framing happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through the movie. How's Nick get out of there? Does Angie pick him up?
That's what I
That's the
assumed.
only thing I really don't know. Like, how the fuck did he get out of there? Was there just like a
He remembers being
Ski-Doo, type thing?
3 miles off of.
Yeah.
That's what he thinks the coast of Whimby Island.
3 miles of
He
ocean
backfloated
or
to the
inlet
mainland.
ocean water? That's a long, long way.
Cameron, and if that's you, you don't know how to back.
Yeah, he
sink to the bottom.
Lieutenant Danned it into freedom again. That's what he did. Also, I'm also assuming he collected his own blood for a while to have that much to dump, and he didn't just I don't think this
shit.
A lot of
through.
blood.
It was a lot of blood.
That's a lot of blood.
How do you collect blood that isn't old and congealed out? How long was he saving that? And how he has resources. And I'll get to it. I'll get to it in a second. Okay.
I don't know where tiger sharks, any shark exists, but I think if you're diving into the middle of the ocean,
We have to assume it was Angie. The mistress picked him up, and he's
Angie
been
picked him
saving
up.
blood for a while.
where's that?
But who
boat?
was watching? Who was
Oh,
watching
okay.
Maddie? Somebody else had to pick him. There had to be some. They're not telling us everything.
Well, they're trailing Maddie.
No, Maddie
all
was
around,
there.
but
He's
they're-
pretty
they're-
naive and fucked up. He was in the
He's
boat.
playing soccer. He's at aunt and uncle's house. He knows he knows all these.
He ends up at boarding school. Yeah, he gets shipped around.
He gets shipped
That's
around.
true. I mean, at that stage, he was young, so it's like, we're going for a boat ride.
Okay, comment.
mad at him.
And animosity. I know Libby's innocent and naive, but you have to go to court with a better game plan than I fell asleep and I woke up covered in blood. It wasn't me.
That was the truth.
Yeah,
I have
but
seen-
That was the truth.
But you gotta go to court with a better story than that. You know what I
That
mean?
What
was the
can
truth.
you do to seem innocent, though? How do
yeah,
you cry
what
correctly?
do you do to seem
Cameron,
innocent?
we're screwed.
When the Coast Guard's coming
done.
up, you quickly got to stab yourself a few times. And like Mark's saying,
Ooh, that's not a bad
throw
idea.
the knife overboard, be like, help, help. Someone just stabbed us and boated away. Pirates.
Aliens. Yeah. God.
There's other things that could happen, but
Literally throw the knife to the bottom of the lagoon.
Yeah, they would have never gotten that. They're like, the ocean was going at 12 knots or something. They're like, they wouldn't get that knife back.
She was holding a knife. He came out of nowhere. It was misty. It was foggy, and they're immediately like, "She's got a knife." What?
they were Mark. They say that about everybody. They're ready to shoot. They're the Coast Guard. They don't have a lot going on. I take
the
that.
Coast Guard's like
I
that?
take that back. I'm joking. Coast Guard's very brave.
We are pro Coast Guard.
We're pro postcard? Unless we find out they're bad and then we're like,
But that doesn't mean they aren't trigger happy. They don't have a lot to shoot at.
we're 100% against Coast Guards if we find out they're
We
bad.
know what you've done.
Yeah, they'd have harpoons, so they're immediately bad. Maybe.
Do they? You think?
Seems like they might. It's a water weapon.
Trial seemed rushed. Her lawyer's like, listen, you seem pretty guilty.
Yeah, I don't think the lawyer put in the effort. He's like, Libby, it doesn't matter if I believe in you. We're going to fucking lose is what he's thinking.
Yeah.
What I think is irrelevant. They all think
He
you're guilty.
lost immediately. He's like, and didn't really break the death of her husband very softly. And he's
Mark, he's a
dead.
bad lawyer,
He's dead.
but he's a worse friend.
I think he's way worse of a friend than a lawyer. Because here's how bad of a friend he is. He's like, I'm just here as your friend. Definitely not your lawyer. It's like, but unfortunately, I am your lawyer.
And then all he does is give her law advice, like, don't speak
Horrible
to
law
anybody.
You know what's weird is Libby's reaction when she's talking to Andrew. She's like, well, I'm going to prison now, so I'm going to need you to adopt Maddie. And then she just like sits there and is like, that's it. Time to go to prison.
No
like
inkling of maybe some like an illicit affair.
Well, also question, I could see the affair trying to leave with the husband, but why is the mistress that's been taking care of this child so evil that she's willing to frame this woman for murder and then run away?
I think rewind it a little bit and maybe give Angie, now knowing her fate, what happens to her. What is his fucking idea? What is he just that fucking crazy?
Well, I'll tell you this, Mark. It
seems to
turns
be.
out that in 1999, despite us having just watched Enema of the State and knowing the extent of our technology,
Enema.
you can just
Did you say enema?
possibly
He's a Blink fan.
you can just with the snap of a finger, if you're Nick, just change your identity, zip zam zoom, and it turns out the police can't in any way identify a name change in 1999. That's beyond them.
I guess my
beyond
biggest animosity is how large Nick decides to live his life.
Yeah, he owns like a big hotel in the French Court, like an old historic hotel.
Cameron,
He's a
He's
social-
like
that's
selling
actually
himself off at the end.
that's also after he lived in San Francisco and murdered his mistress that he murdered his
And
wife with.
Colorado.
And he obviously was living big
Oh
enough
yeah,
to.
in Colorado.
He was living big enough to get like Kandinsky there. Like, wasn't there like some paintings tracking? That's how we found that out. No, that might be New Orleans. Either way, wow.
I actually have one more animosity. I know that you just brought up that Nick is like flippant to that they couldn't find him, but I think this movie depicts 1999 internet way too efficient.
Oh, I love that scene though in the library when they're like, "Oh, let's surf the web." I
Yeah.
love 1990 investigation.
She's like, "What do you got on her? Do you got a social security number?" She's like, "No,
Yeah,
but she
of
was
all
a
my
teacher."
friends.
She was a teacher. I got her. Bam.
You
She's
know what
on
we
the
don't do
internet.
anymore is surf the web. I miss surfing the web.
Yeah, but
We don't do it anymore.
Here's what this movie's not depicting. When you surf the web, it was a whole lot of website coming soon. That's what you were going to
Yep.
fucking run into. There wasn't anything there yet. Try to catch a wave. It was tough. I'm telling you.
And for some reason, it was always what you needed, especially in movies. Surfing the web was just, previous owner, like you know, his last name. Like you just found exactly what you needed.
The dumbest one is the art. It's like, who'd you sell that to? And they had everything about him. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Let me see your handwritten
Yeah,
records.
that's
This is
definitely a
bullshit.
written receipt.
I'd love to see this. Ugh.
And that guy's not
pissed me
giving
off so
that
much.
guy's not giving out information, at least not for money.
No,
Before we get too much past the sailboat, I think Morningstar is a little weak for a sailboat name. Usually they're more kitschy than that. Sort of.
Yeah.
There's something witty, more like fish and ships.
Yeah.
Seas
So-
today.
This would have been a
Sure
fun
thing.
time to foreshadow what happened in the movie. You know what I mean?
The stabby stab.
No, like you'll die in New
stabbing
Orleans.
crab.
I don't know. I don't have it on the ready, but I'm just saying it could
That
have been
gets
you know,
away with it.
something.
The
Alibi. I don't know. Something legal jargon. Not double jeopardy, but
Oh.
something like that.
Okay. Can we get into some legal stuff now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The law.
Yeah. Do you want me to actually just read verbatim what actually it is?
I do.
Because the film incorrectly implies that double jeopardy clause of the Fifth Amendment gives someone a free pass to commit a subsequent crime if they're wrongfully committed.
Use less legal jargon. Say it like I'm 5, Cameron.
New crime, new trial. It doesn't matter if it's a new scenario and it's not the exact same trial, exact same
They're just
crime.
saying you can't be tried for the same crime.
Yeah.
I'll go
Or
back, say-
convicted for the same crime twice.
Yeah, but
Right?
Yes, thank you, Jordan. You can't get convicted for the same crime twice. That's what double jeopardy is.
yeah,
And she's going to learn that the hard way
And technically,
in the
it's
sequels.
a legal thing.
Do you know what's hilarious?
It's still around.
Tommy Lee Jones is a law professor. He's like, it's totally right. I think she could just shoot you in the face.
Excuse me. It was a law professor.
Disgraced alcoholic law professor. Good point, Jordan.
So I got a question about this. He's the parole officer, and all his parolees know his backstories. How they know that? I assume people just talk whatever the stories happen. If you are a law professor and they said he got an OWI, do you get fired from your job? I wouldn't assume. I mean,
Probably get
maybe
debarred, like you said. Yeah, I would assume
maybe.
you do.
Do you have to be like part of the bar association to be a law school, like a lawyer? Sorry, a
Law professor? I'd assume
You
you
have
had.
to pass
I'd assume at least one
Okay,
point
so-
you would have. Yeah.
So any lawyer that gets an OWI gets debarred?
We don't know the exact.
You probably have to know some people. If you don't, maybe he didn't know the right
Maybe
folks.
he
didn't-
hit some.
He
Maybe
didn't know
caused
Nick.
an accident. We don't know the extent of this disgrace. You know what I mean? Also, another quick fact: Ashley Judd is convicted of murdering her husband for insurance money in the first degree. You would not get any eligible for parole for the 6 or 7 years. You likely would not be eligible for parole for first degree murder with that kind of thing.
Do you think though that even if they started a new trial, the jury or the court or the judge would be like, "Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna let this one go," on account of fuck that guy?
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, we still think she did it.
No. Well, she did it eventually. No, I'm saying they try her with something new. It's like we kind of don't care. He seemed like a real bad guy.
Yeah, you actually did have some boating infractions, and we are gonna have to fine you for that.
I don't know a whole lot about like taking out like in like life insurance policies, but I think it's got to be weird for her
to randomly have
taking out
him bring up like a $2 million life insurance
Yes,
policy.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's the.
I'll say this.
Naive,
Okay,
Anna.
Libby seems pretty naive. Obviously, she didn't think her husband was a murderer. Frame her for this whole situation, but from the moment we see him, and I wasn't sure that it was with Angie, but you'd be like, that guy cheats on his wife for sure.
Yeah.
Like 100% cheats on his wife. Might be cheating on his wife at that party.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get that vibe. For you.
And she's oblivious to it. She's like, I don't know.
Hey, close your eyes. He's like smooching the other girl.
Yeah, like the.
Animosity also. Libby didn't have a ton to go off of to believe Nick was alive, other than her kid being like, "Daddy."
Cameron. Cameron.
His kid's young and kids are stupid. Like,
She had rage.
well, that and it was pretty suspicious
that was enough.
how set up she got. Yeah, I guess
No, that was horrible. That was horrible timing for Angie because like I don't know whatever job he was doing. Maybe he comes home at random times. That I guess that could be the loophole there. But like,
Yeah, when you're a
you
professional
can't be on the phone
embezzler.
between 4:45 and 5 when fucking Nick usually comes home or whatever his name was at that point.
So here's actually a plot point with that scene. Libby gets ghosted by Angie.
Mm-hmm.
They move from like the Pacific Northwest to San Francisco.
Yep.
Do you know how Libby finds her? She calls like the pension board for like the Teachers Association. They give her all her information. What a crafty little fucker. Like I just thought that worked way too well.
Jordan.
Yeah, Libby's a little bit in the wrong there for snooping around and finding social security numbers that she probably shouldn't be knowing.
Well, that'll be added to her
shouldn't be
charges.
knowing
But to Jordan's point, yeah, the internet has ruined our sleuthing and creativity. Yeah, if it's not on the internet, it doesn't exist for me now.
It was super impressive. Yeah, a lot to go on. But I guess if Libby was wrong about Nick being, actually alive, she just would have broken parole and gone back to prison.
Yeah,
for like
really,
another
she
10
was
years.
probably going to be in there for a long time anyway. So at that point, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Do you want
Besides
to
being a
know?
home wrecker, I feel a little bit bad for Angie. No,
No, she pretty much framed.
Yeah.
She framed her friend
I
for
mean, she
murder
bad
and
guy.
then
yeah,
stole
but had
her
to kind
child.
of deal with the
and
dipshit kid for a while.
That's like film noir 101.
She got hers.
The person,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
If it wasn't
Anybody
this
thinks
came
it could have been an actual accident? Anybody thinking that?
No.
Real accident?
No.
Okay. No, she got set.
You've never actually left the gas on making scrambled eggs, Jordan?
No, but I fear it all
It's
the time.
a fear of
Me
mine
too, I do.
actually. So
I
I,
One of my
I
biggest
I
fear.
check constantly.
I leave for work and I'll be like halfway there and be like, damn,
I've turned around.
did I
I've turned around.
I've turned
I'm
right
like,
around.
There's no way I'm not turning
I've
around.
turned right around.
Like, this,
No.
this-
The part
And
where
it-
Angie comes with Maddie and like Maddie like says like, oh, I learned my ABCs, and Libby starts crying. Why she's crying is because Maddie should have learned that a year and a half before he learned.
He's so slow, Maddie. Oh god, you've been bound.
also, I believe
You're way behind.
Angie's his teacher too, right? She's fucking
Yeah,
she's a bad
that's-
teacher.
that's on
yeah,
her.
yeah, that is on her.
That's why she was crying.
Comment. I guess maybe an animosity in that beach scene when Libby was stealing the information from the school and she's trying to evade the cops.
She killed both of those.
They
Two dead
rolled
cops.
at least 300 times in that Jeep on the beach. You don't just get up and keep chasing. They have severe whiplash at the least.
I mean, you want to rack up some things. She's a felon and uses a gun to kill somebody.
Oh, also
she's racked up multiple parole violations. She's going back to jail, whether it's double jeopardy or
This
not.
is 1999, but she flies with that gun, Mark. She gets that across state lines, too, somehow.
She flies.
She get
with
on
it,
a
doesn't
flight?
she? Yeah,
She is a wanted criminal, and she gets on a flight. Just zip,
Yeah.
zap, zoop.
Pre 9/11.
Yeah, but still,
9/11.
like, you have to have an identity.
You do have to mention it, though, don't you, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, times were different. I don't know if you could fly with a gun, but you know,
You might. Yeah, I think we could have.
probably could have.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that either one of these gives like a lively performance, Ashley, Judd, or
I'm actually happy.
pretty flat? But I like it both. I like them both, but it's
I'm happy.
there's not
I'm
much.
happy you
It's-
brought that up because rewatching this, first time I've seen it in a long time, but I do remember thinking, not that it's bad, but I remembered the acting being better, and the writing
more lively?
yeah, and the writing in general. But I still really enjoy it for some reason. Tommy Lee Jones is just cheeky enough. Ashley Judd's beautiful and does great, and it's just it works for me somehow still.
They have chemistry, but I can't pinpoint one moment of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I 100% know what you mean.
Tommy Lee Jones does well. I think some of the moments where you have a dead husband and you're going to jail for however many years, like I think she doesn't do as well.
a little,
And
little
same even with-
underwhelmed.
yeah, a little underwhelming.
Yeah,
I
And
think her
I
best-
think that shows on the critic scores a little bit. It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
It's not really.
When I looked at the critic scores, was
Rated well.
before I watched this, just do some Rotten Tomatoes research. I'm like, was I wrong as a kid? And it turns out I was.
no, because the box office agrees with us that everyone's like, yeah, this
That's
is okay.
true.
This is pretty good. It made good money, you know.
It did make me want to rewatch Men in Black, though. I like Tommy Lee Jones for whatever reason.
Fuck it, we'll do that
just
soon.
rocks.
Actually, I have a couple of suggestions for movies after this we'll get to. Also, Animosity. Well, one kind of funny comment. She lasted like a week on parole, maybe. She could have maybe got a lot more done on parole, sneaky, but she just couldn't last a week. But she swam like a quarter mile underwater away from that boat to get to the mainland.
that truly is my biggest animosity on the ferry. One, let's say she could have swam that far, she would have easily gotten detected. Everybody,
Hey,
like,
she's over there.
it's-
Yeah, everyone.
It's just
I don't
that
know
one
if she's-
dipshit kid.
So she's hooked onto the outside of the vehicle.
Yep,
No.
yep, the handle.
Yeah.
Okay. Odd there. Number one.
Tommy
Number
Lee
two,
Jones is bad at his job.
She doesn't need to be ramming back and forth into these
No.
vehicles. She can kind of grind it off, I feel like, maybe. I don't know.
In her
she's gonna
defense,
she's
not
gonna
everybody's
rip her
Michael
arm
Myers.
off.
She has been in captivity for a while and probably hasn't driven much
true.
lately.
Yeah, and nice comparison. And also, Mark, I could even say she might have been able to wiggle that handle. Like, yeah, I mean, it's an older car. Like, just give it.
It looks
give
like
it
a
jimmy
5
it off.
minutes, and you'll get it.
Because what's the short, like, bar minimum shortest ferry ride in the world is what, an hour? Shortest. Like,
Also,
just
that's where you
starting
plan-
it,
yeah.
loading up the boats. You got 4 hours on that fucking thing.
Yeah. And he's going to continue to get drunk. He's going to be blacked out after hour 2.
Can't stop,
You,
won't
you
stop.
just get to ask somebody to just get you out of there.
Yeah,
That is my biggest animosity, unrealistic thing. I have a second one coming up a little bit later when we get to New Orleans, but man, that's a long swim. That is a fucking long swim.
she goes on to the other side of the boat and then to like all the way across the lake.
I have one more question about the scene on the ferry. This is going back to when I saw it as a kid. I'm like, my God, this is the most realistic car falling into water, people swimming away from it I've ever
yeah.
seen. It does not hold up, if you're wondering.
No.
It does not hold up the same way. I don't even know if those guys are submerged in real water.
It's the only, I think, blue screen moment
I
of
think
the
they
whole
have to be.
movie, and it shows.
I was actually
Tommy
anticipating
Lee
that.
Jones
I'm like,
looks
they
like
nailed
he's
that.
begging for air, though. I'll tell you. that.
God, please, God, please.
Yeah, he gets like at least 4 good pulls before he gets anywhere near
Yeah.
the surface / camera. I bet
You guys ever swam in full clothing, though? Shoes?
a few times.
You
No.
got to kick the
No,
shoes
I kick
off.
the
You need
shoes
your
off.
flippers to be working.
We got 15 minutes of Shawshank time. I love her
Prison friends.
lawyer, prison. Yeah,
Kind of
prison
nice
friends are
there,
good.
no?
Yeah.
Hairstylists, birthday parties, frisbee.
Yeah, prison should have been a lot harder for her than I think they were showing us.
You know what's kind of nice about prison?
Please tell me.
Go on.
Just a routine. Just a routine.
Mark, I think you'd love the military. Tommy Lee Jones is like off the job essentially, right? He's like probably suspended. I mean, granted, at the end they're calling him like, "Where have you been?" But like, it doesn't seem like they were expecting him to guard the boarding house or anything. So, is he just off the clock, being like, "I'm gonna find her" kind of thing?
Yeah, this is a main trope for some of these like thriller cop movies where they're like, you're off, you're not on this, and they're like, I'll solve it.
I'll tell you, the only thing I'll ever do if that happened, well, I'm gonna go home and get really drunk because that's what I do. I'm Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, he doesn't. Besides the child connection, what's he doing?
It doesn't seem like his life at the boarding house is great, or he's making a lot of money. So I'm sure as shit not spending my own money on flights to New Orleans and San Francisco to chase her down. I'll tell you that. What's he get? It's not like everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, great, you got her."
I think eventually, though, he believes her.
Yeah, but I feel like that doesn't exactly happen until.
I don't know when that happens.
It's like either New Orleans,
somewhere in New Orleans,
San Francisco with the paintings when he's like the Kandinsky.
Oh no, that's
what
right?
starts it. But when he gets to New Orleans, it's kind of adding up.
Yeah,
you
it's
know
not
what's
like
wild too.
What's that?
Just a prostitute one time thing, slip up. You're going back. But if you got something with your child, like you can do all this, and we're gonna figure it out.
Well, she was going back.
He's a guy with a haunted past. If he used to hook, I'm sure he would have had.
Seems like he doesn't like prostitutes. Is all I'm saying.
My guess is he
loves them,
but he does not.
He likes the one.
We kind of talked.
He doesn't. I correct me if I'm wrong. There's no like romantic thing between them, right?
Not at all.
Even though he's with her at the end, right? There's no father-daughter, right? Nothing romantic. That's it, right? I just want to make sure. I didn't see it, but I don't know.
It's the daughter he lost, Jordan. So no one could have just looked at a picture of Nick or Jonathan Devereaux. Like, I get that the internet wasn't there, but like even the driver's license,
big world, Cameron.
Like, you didn't think that there's going to be more than one like person. Like I know we eventually get there. Like turns out there were 6, but.
The big thing about this is it depends how big the trial was, right? If this was a national story, people would have like recognized his face. If it wasn't,
it would have been a big story.
You know, this is actually like, have you guys ever seen the show You?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's stunningly similar that they kind of just like stole, like he just makes a new name for himself each season and whatever. But
it
seems fairly easy. He just ups and leaves, and
I mean, I think we know from true crime that the police can be very lazy, and if they don't have to look up a picture of Nick whatever or Jonathan Devereaux, then they're not gonna.
Yeah, that's true. They already have somebody in prison, and you're like, well, we solved that crime, and his body's gone, so not our problem. Speaking of true crime, all I thought to myself during this watch is, you know, everybody's like, let's make a TV show out of it, and I'm against that. This would be a great true crime podcast. Just maybe the best one ever. If this was a real story. Double Jeopardy, she comes back and kills him. Holy shit.
I know I brought this up, but it begs saying again, animosity. Why can't police look up the records of people who change their name? Seems like there is a paper trail of that to very easily and closely follow.
Who is that? They said that in the movie. That's just probably wrong.
They just straight up say it in New Orleans, when like he changed his name. No way to find that anymore. Why?
Nick's so ignorant. I don't even think he changed his hairstyle.
Like, and I don't think he did it. They're acting like he did it legally. Just like, no, I just walk around.
No, I think they mean he changed his name. Like, where do we like?
What do you want us to look for?
Where do we go from a name?
Okay, so we're not assuming that he's like actually getting socials and new things. We're just thinking that this guy just walks into places
like you. He's just
with cash and is like, I'd like to buy this hotel.
I guess it could just be cash, but how can he
be a socialite like that?
He's got to have an ID.
He's got to have social security numbers and IDs if he's getting.
If he owns the hotel,
if he owns a hotel, or I guess you can do stuff like through corporations, but you have to start that somehow legally. I don't know.
There's a lot of questions.
What would you guys do? You guys owning hotels and doing like a bachelor bid off, or you're just gonna like live on the beach somewhere?
$1 million life insurance policy would go pretty quick. You'd find me living in the woods.
You mean if I'm him, like what would I do?
You'd be caught through 23andMe today, and then you'd be the subject of a sweet podcast.
What about Tommy Lee Jones? Why not take that little deal? If
it was me, unfortunately, I'd get killed by my mistress Angie because I'm a dipshit.
Actually, Mark poses a question. Me. What if Tommy Lee Jones did like just a duffel bag $1 million did drop in his lap? He's like, oh shit, He has it on him.
Don't
He,
hate
he,
it.
he takes that 100 grand, not even the million, the 100 grand. He's like, damn, I could buy a lot of booze with that, and just like fucks his life.
I would
up.
definitely try to hang on to that 100,000 throughout this whole thing. Like, especially if he's shot and dead now, and be like,
Yeah.
I came in with this duffel.
That cash is
I walked
clean.
in with this duffel bag. This is my duffel bag.
Here's my big animosity about most movies. Speaking of him getting shot, people take getting shot way too easily. He's
Never
making,
been, so I can't say.
That's true. I've never been shot. Full
Granted,
disclosure,
he was shot
but
in like the chest and then stomach, so chest could have been something vital, but he probably could have popped off on the way down a couple rounds, taking her down.
I thought Tommy Lee Jones was shot just like in the upper.
Oh, he just got a shoulder shot,
blade.
but in the ambulance, it looked a little more dead center when we got like to the later shot.
Why? And then the Nick Jonathan, whatever his fucking name is at this point. Why is he not like double tapping him?
90s, just movies. We needed it to work that way.
Yeah,
my biggest animosity with Nick though, or whatever his name becomes in
Jonathan Devereaux.
The moment Jonathan Dever, the moment he sees Libby
John
at the
Favreau.
auction, you fucking pack up, you flee, get Maddie if you want. It seems like
he
you don't.
doesn't.
Get the fuck out of there. Yeah,
You're saying go for another name?
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
like,
Just start
run
over.
It,
like,
run it back,
what's
run
his
it
Like,
back.
if anything, it seems
We're going
like
to
because
Florida.
of this hotel, he has even more money than he started with when he bailed in San Francisco. This is a better bail start, you know?
Yeah.
Also, lose Maddie at this point,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Some baggage.
Bester.
You know what?
Another
Something tells
gas
me he
fire,
didn't
who
want
knows?
Maddie, and that's why we had to switch identities again, then ship him to boarding school.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like,
We have to
He wasn't
Yeah.
in there while mom was cooking scrambled
we have
eggs.
to kill this new mom
Damn.
and get you into across the country.
he never seemed like he wanted Maddie. Maybe that was a way to get Angie to go along with it. I don't really know, but if just abandon them, like stop that, like leave them all.
Bye.
Yeah, if you don't give a shit, why be?
You don't. Yeah.
I want to take it back real quick because I totally forgot the graveyard scene in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, damn, I've got that in my notes.
Number
too.
one, what did that kid think he was doing by luring a woman like into a secluded place in the cemetery? That kid's weird and evil. One, he's hanging out there possibly alone.
Not
that
for 20
tracks.
bucks. Not for 20 bucks. He's not.
And we never,
No, that
we never
tracks.
see an exchange of money. He just disappears.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Yep,
do
you
we?
go-
Oh,
you
yeah.
give him 20.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
It's like National Treasures. Like go like collect these fucking
Yeah.
weird letters and for this.
Do you think he walked away thinking?
I'll do that for 20 bucks.
Do you think he walked away thinking though? It's like I think I'm an accomplice to murder now.
No, you're about to be knees deep in Sour Patch Kids
You're
and
right.
Big Gulps and like.
There's
Funny
not a lot
and
I
shit.
won't do for 20 bucks today.
You don't think Mark's done some scavenger hunts in a
I've seen
cemetery?
what he's done.
$20. You had me at $20.
But also just animosity. It's not that secluded. What from the wide shot when Nick hits her head on the thing, we can see those people marching like a row away. I've been to the cemetery.
You're right. He's
You
desperate.
can kind of see through
to
the
quote
area.
61, it's not my problem.
That's fair. That's true. They're burying their own dead person.
All right, so the biggest question about this, though, in this scene is
Why would you light a
why
lighter
does-
in a confined coffin that could easily catch fire?
No, like
It's a good one. It's a good one, Cameron.
I want to get to once we're inside the
Mm-hmm.
tomb and the coffin, but
Yep.
why doesn't Nick just
Kill.
like literally kill her?
Yeah, it would make sense to maybe just keep hitting her head a little more instead of being like, she'll probably die in here.
So do you think he just didn't want to have like an actual murder on his hands and be like, this will probably take care
kind
of
of,
it?
you know, it's weak, but like you'd also maybe, you assume, I guess, that he thought he killed her with that hit to the head, that it was hard enough, but
I guess
you really should.
Not only did she have a lighter, she had a gun as well.
Yeah, he
on
didn't
her.
even like take anything off her.
Didn't frisk
No.
her.
And he's like, granted, again, he left so much evidence there that when they somehow randomly find her body in 2022, he's going to get caught in 2030 from 23andMe.
Yeah, he knows gonna.
He is.
get him
He
caught.
seems like a
It's gonna be
23andMe
goddamn
guy.
Maddie. Want to figure out what his liar dad said. he was.
Really, this guy, Catch Me If You Can, the future was just going to catch all of them, where they're like, well, I really cannot fake this document.
Yeah, but you just hope you're dead by then.
Yeah, true.
So Jordan, let's circle back. Who's the biggest loser here? It's Maddie.
Maddie.
Okay, yeah.
There's no
Because
there's
here's-
no chance this kid isn't weird now. First off, we think he might
He
have
was
been a
weird
little
before.
behind on the ABCs. Number two, his dad dies. His mom gets dragged through a trial, and it doesn't seem like they have a good family, even though the mom is super cool and gives her a lot of money in a can.
No, I don't think he knows his dad was dead, right? Because he probably wasn't there during the trial. He was very young. But
he said
still
daddy
thinks
over the
his-
phone
You had
call,
to
so-
you have
Yeah.
to explain that to him at some point that he's never going to see his dad again, and also mom.
Maybe his dad tells him about it. But at the end of the movie, we're all happy for Libby. But her first thing is, got some bad news. Dad's
now your
dead.
dad's dead for real again.
This might be more. This is tougher than
And
Castaway. That
I
ending.
think I passed up on inheriting the hotel.
They're like at the end, like, well, ma'am, I believe you own this multi-million-dollar property.
Which I don't think that checks at all, but she's like,
That
I'm
never
good.
crossed my mind. That's
I think
fucking hilarious.
whoever had the hotel last, they're like, oh, that sale wasn't legal. This is my hotel still.
I don't know how she'd get it, but she's like, I'm good. I'm going to go see my son. I'm
Oh,
like,
I can live a
James
wonderful.
Hilton is like, thank God.
yeah, no kidding.
I could live my fun, whimsical Wes Anderson Budapest hotel here in like New Orleans. Nah.
Mom's still on parole too. He's gonna have a tough go at it.
Oh yeah, like she still ran. Like I'm sure we'll expunge that, but like Mark said, she did still rack up some laws.
If she doesn't get like a presidential pardon, she's going back to prison. It's just
We don't have a
happening.
good system.
Unfortunately, it's for breaking parole.
Yeah,
though.
that's what we're saying.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
And
all
then
it was.
while
for,
on
yeah.
parole, she broke an entry. She caused a bunch of car damage. She killed 2 cops.
Lot
in
of
that-
car-
in that-
unnecessary
in that
car
dune
damage.
buggy
yeah,
roll.
she made 2 police officers roll over and be like, "Oh, jeez, oh God, Mister Ow!" Like they got out of there. Rolled like 17 times.
Who sounded the alarm for the 2 officers to go to the preschool?
just silent preschool alarm.
Silent alarm.
Nothing ever.
We have those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who's Libby talking to? Man, it's after she literally got out on parole, like legal parole. She went to one of her coworkers or Angie's co-workers at the school, like, "Hey, can you just tell me where my son is?" And this cunt
It
is
was
like,
the
"Let it go."
It was the lady at the beginning of the movie who was giving the speech. She was the principal of the school who was at her
okay.
house.
I asked Judd, I was like, who's this girl?
It's the
Yeah.
principal from the beginning.
I don't like her. In her defense, I think she
was
thought
a
she was
murderer.
talking to a murderer. So, we're gonna.
That's fair. Maybe
You know.
maybe she was in the right. Get her off the school property.
Oh, this is a like, and I want to try to do this sometime. I never will, but movies make it seem like the easiest thing to charge something in a hotel lobby to the room. They're like, all you need is a name. Like, there's just got to be more
Jordan,
than that.
you know what?
I saw somebody do it on
And-
TikTok. I literally
For
saw
real?
someone do, yeah, they're like, I can't remember how they did it.
And also, Jordan, having charged things to my room before, if you just say the number, they're like, okay,
yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
give a
They don't
shit.
check it all. But like an $800 dress.
Yeah, something like that. I think he was like a bottle of water and like a Reese's Pieces. Like, can you
Yeah,
just put this
that-
up at 314?
Oh, I saw that
He's like,
video.
I'm in 318. Someone's gonna be pissed and they're gonna see that TikTok and find
Yeah,
you. Dude.
you're gonna get the
Yeah, that's true.
Don't
actually.
maybe videotape it. He'll get his charge.
So small things like that, I think you could charge the room. But like a fucking dress, an $800 dress. And listen to this: nobody has ever sized my body up and said the wrong size. But I wanna live that moment sometime. Be like, actually, you fucking.
Unfortunately
you're
for
wrong.
us,
It's
it'll
a
be
2.
the
I'm a
opposite. But like
2.
size 8, and I'll have to be like 16.
Yeah, I'm flattered, but no, it's quite a bit bigger. Quite a bit bigger.
I thought that was a little large for Ashley Judd at the time. You know, for
Yeah,
size
it was
4. It's pretty
ignorant.
rude.
It's ignorant. And here's how you fix that. What size do you need?
Yeah, don't ever assume.
Lay it on me.
Don't.
Let's start from there. Like, what are we doing here?
Here, this is my final sort of my ideas as what I would do is just do the time, right? I get Jordan. You mentioned rage
That's what
earlier. and
her
that's a big
prison
part of
lawyer
this.
was saying. Just do your time.
Do your time. Go show up with signs. Find the dude. Do all your due diligence, your investigation. Show it with picket signs and the news, and expose him and sue him for everything.
Yeah.
You get the hotel. You know what I mean? But that's just more logical.
I mean,
than
not
Ashley
even doing
Judd
the
is at
time.
this
Like,
point.
just do that parole better. Just like show up on
Parole.
time. Go to the library. The internet's going to get
Yeah.
a little better. In 5 years, you'll be able to find a little bit more about this dashing Jonathan Devereaux from New Orleans, who
Yeah, she's sleuthy.
probably
just do some
made
more
a name
research.
for himself hanging out with Harry Connick Jr. in the French Quarter. So I mean, like, you'll find
They definitely ran into each other.
They partied.
I think what you do is try to find where your kid's at first, versus the husband. I don't feel like did she try to? Oh, she
Well,
tried.
yeah, I think that,
that
was
was
the
the
whole thing,
whole
right?
point,
She cared more about just being with her kid, finding her kid, getting her kid back than the revenge. But
No, he just didn't give the kid back. He just kept not giving her Maddie for some reason, even though, once again, pretty easy just to... She
What a
was going to
slimy
go home.
motherfucker.
She was just going to go home with Maddie.
he could have wiped his hands with just some money. I think, yeah. This is all on this guy.
And to answer you from before, there's a witness to this self-defense with Tommy Lee Jones also being shot. Plus, they have the tape recorder, even though
That's true. Yeah. At that point, he confesses.
I don't think tape recordings were admissible as evidence at the time.
I think most of the time they don't. You don't get to use them, right?
because you can't prove it.
Yeah. Oh, like the voice.
Yeah.
The voice recording. You mean?
Tommy Lee Jones is a bad law professor. He doesn't know a thing about
Cameron's
the law.
not a law professor. He's a parole officer.
Well, current.
I think what I've learned in this movie is just don't buy a fucking sailboat.
No. Hey, and they didn't. Don't even test drive one or sail one. I don't know if it's test drive or test drive. On top of that, I guess I'm not in the selling boats game. Selling boats.
Didn't think
that's
you were.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. But if you let somebody test sail your boat, do you just assume they're going to just
sail away?
wreck the below deck?
It's coming back with some sort of damage.
It turns out I should have
Wind
taken some
damage.
classes first. I didn't know how to operate this.
No, I was just saying it's like, oh, they're just going to have like a lot of sex in the...
Yeah.
Is it called the hull?
Yeah.
The hull. The
It's
hull.
that or if you're borrowing it for a weekend, you're murdering. And they did both. Well, with that, should we move it on to recasting? Recasting. Nice and tight for you. Let's start bottom of the list with Angie. Jordan, who'd you have for the mistress / teacher?
I wasn't like super inspired, so I picked Olivia Munn. Sorry, Olivia Wilde.
Oh, yeah, sure. I could see that. Is that just from her recent news and being a homewrecker?
There's a Harry Styles. There's a whole love triangle thing going on.
Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, everything I think I said was canon and true.
Okay, that's what I went with.
I did kind of a lookalike. I did Jamie Gertz from Twister. Go back and see our Twister. She's the new wife in that, the fiance.
She's also go back. I think it's still available. I can't remember. Lost Boys is one of our real early ones. If it made the cut, she's Star.
Get out of your star. Sorry.
I kind of went weird for this recast. I usually try to do like around the time, like appropriate time for the actor.
Mm-hmm.
I did Alison Brie.
I get that.
Uninspired.
It kind of.
I did not have a great Angie. I will say that. Like
Also, Angie's got like 2 minutes of screen time.
Right. So I did Bobby too, the lawyer, but like
Just what you got there.
Bob Hoskins, but like it's just
Yeah,
like
that works for me.
it's more of a lookalike.
Yeah, it's the same body type. Who'd you have for Nick?
I got you one. I got you one for the lawyer. I gotta figure out his name.
Is it the guy from Big Daddy who plays that lawyer?
Yeah, Josh Mostel. He plays Arthur Brooks. He's the social worker.
Oh, nice. Social worker. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I just picked it out of your brain, though. Felt it.
Yeah, he's from, Jesus Christ Superstar. The Christ.
Let's do the cheating deadly Nick. I did Bradley Cooper.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
to
like
be
that
kind
one
of smooth, debonair, but it also has a little bit of evil in his eye.
Yep. That works. And
Thank
he's
you
kind
for
of
that
got
one.
that. He's kind of got that smooth debonair hair, doesn't he?
And I could see him trying a southern accent on.
Dennis Quaid for me.
That makes sense too.
Yeah, I'm fine with Dennis Quaid.
I
I like him a little too much, but yeah. I don't want to hate him.
I could see him
didn't
being.
really
I could
wanna
see him
hate,
being the bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Oh,
wanna
you didn't
this
hate
guy.
Nick?
No, I didn't want to at the jump. Like he's just the rich guy who's got the lake house, and then the
Mark, I think
murders
you would have
the-
been seduced by him at that party.
Yeah, I'm one of the wives. aren't
okay.
I? Fuck.
So I went. It looks like I've thought this since I was a kid. Used to coach the Missouri Tigers college basketball team. I think most recently he coached the Utah Jazz. Look at Quinn Snyder. I think they look alike. Megan doesn't think they look alike at all. I've
take it
always
as
thought
just a
that.
real life pull.
I love when we go off the radar with this. Some of these.
But if we're talking an actor,
Hold on, say his name again one more time.
Quinn Snyder used to coach the Jazz. I think he's not a coach now, but probably will be next season.
Stunning.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that,
Okay, Megan
that plays.
said not a chance.
it's exactly correct.
Yeah, that works. Who's your real actor? You said you had one in the wings?
I went Leonardo DiCaprio.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
what?
No,
But
yeah,
Bradley
I was
Cooper
thinking,
can?
For some reason, I thought 1999 him, and I'm like, but he's too
No, like
young.
now
Yeah,
him probably.
That makes sense. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, now him, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
not
yes,
young
yes, yes,
him,
yes, yes.
obviously.
Let's
No,
move
but
on.
I think Bradley Cooper can play
His better, probably.
play a better dick. I don't know.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Leo plays pretty good dick.
Django Unchained. Pretty unlikable there.
Well, super unlikable.
Let's do Travis, Tommy Lee Jones character. I used him not too long ago, so he was on my brain, but current day Josh Brolin.
I get that.
Kind of gruff, haggard.
Wait, he also did a Tommy Lee Jones impression in the third
Oh, that's true. That might have incepted me.
That's what you're thinking.
I think he got
Inception.
incepted.
I think it might have totally. So we know he can do Tommy Lee Jones. So I'm doing
Yeah.
Josh Brolin as Tommy Lee Jones.
At least a version of him for sure.
Yeah, so that works then. I mean, I think you're right on track there. I did Sean Penn.
Oh, I like
Like
that.
I can see that too.
Sean
Don
Penn.
Sean Penn. Yeah.
Burnt out Sean Penn.
Yeah.
I was all
I
over
can't
the
see
place.
him running for some reason. Just current day Sean Penn. I don't
I
imagine.
don't know if
it
I've
looks
ever
good.
seen Sean Penn run.
Yeah. I'm
don't
sure
think
he
he
has, but
I don't think Tommy Lee Jones runs all that much in this movie.
No, he's mostly just getting hit by people with umbrellas.
What's the one where his daughter dies?
Mystic River.
Mystic River. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
He definitely struggles through a bunch of.
I haven't
cows
seen a
now.
Sean Penn movie since like
There's
what?
strong-
Like Milk.
Struggles through.
The last Sean Penn movie I think I saw was the whatever Life of Walter Mitty, where he's just that photographer, and it's
He's the interview.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's playing himself.
yeah,
Yeah, he's just Sean Penn.
yeah.
I was kind of all over the place. I ended up with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that works too.
Oh, I don't hate that. Actually, 'cause
I thought
Yeah.
Harrison Ford as well. I'm sure everybody did.
there's a Denzel maybe that works in there too. To be honest, like
I thought about
I even
Denzel.
thought Samuel L. Jackson.
I thought
Oh,
about Gene
um,
Hackman, but I've used him too much.
Just too close.
And moving on to Libby. I like mine. Natalie Portman.
Oh, that is pretty good. I like
Right? I was pretty happy with that one.
I did Gal Gadot.
Okay.
that. She brings the elegant.
She could do the action scenes for sure. I could see her being full of vengeance and rage.
I wrote down like 20 names, but I think I landed on Sandra Bullock.
That works.
Seems
That
like
could
the
work.
net.
Yeah, that could work for me. I kind of like that one too.
I also wrote down Rachel Weisz, who I wanted to do, but I say her too much.
Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz works for me too. I like
I
that.
also
And
wrote
Mummy.
down-
And Jolie, but she still feels like too much like a GI Jane who could
Yeah.
Yeah,
kill me
figure
any
it
way
out.
she wanted. Yeah.
I wrote down Halle Berry, Jennifer Lopez.
Charlize Theron back in the 90s.
That's a lookalike. I saw that being as a lookalike.
Charlize
Also-
Theron?
Yeah. Literally, if you go to Ashley Judd, her lookalike is Charlize Theron
Interesting.
or Katherine Heigl.
Oh, did anybody do the Cemetery Maddie, the $20 kid?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I did Butt Neck from Salute Your Shorts.
Sure. That makes sense.
We just go back and listen to Terminator 2. We just did that recently, right? He's a friend on the back of the moped with John Connor.
The What Ifs. Jodie Foster landed this role for Libby after Meg Ryan and Brooke Shields both turned it down. But she had to be replaced because Jodie Foster became pregnant. Michelle Pfeiffer also turned down the lead role in order to do The Story of Us with Bruce Willis. And last but not least, I read this and I thought, ooh, that is a pretty good nick. Greg Kinnear was offered the part but passed.
I don't like Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, so wouldn't he make a pretty good nick? Kind
Yeah,
of charming,
but
but also in a very unlikable way.
But do you believe that Greg Kinnear is capable of all this? Being unlikable, sure.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Oh, this.
No, I guess
No,
not.
you don't.
Okay.
For whatever reason, you don't.
But that's all we have for recasting. Let's move it on to Mount Rushmore. Top four.
Top four.
Mount Rushmore Top 4.
Welcome back to Mount Rushmore Top 4. This week we're going to be doing our favorite Vendetta revenge movies. This week it's going to be me, Mark, Jordan.
I feel like there's almost a little bit of a
Hint in there? Yeah.
little hanging Chad there.
But that's not me. We're going to do a very long
me
movie
either.
that Jordan and I talk about all the time from the 90s, The Count of Monte Cristo. It is just a straight up revenge movie, trying to get his wife back, trying to take down Guy Pearce.
Did he steal your one, Jordan? He stole it?
No.
But was that a
Obviously,
contender? I thought it had to be.
Oh, it's it's
on
the
your
first thing
board.
I said to Megan. I'm like, oh, for sure. Of course, Count of Monte Cristo's in the running, but that's an ultimate revenge movie.
And book. And story.
what I like about that, you know, you really get the comeuppance of the revenge. The bad guy
it's
knows
a long
he
one.
lost.
It's a long sword. He really
Yeah.
gets it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can't argue it. Love it. Guy Pearce. Check it out. Well, I guess it's starring who plays Jesus?
Henry.
whatever.
Yeah.
Not Superman.
Prepare ye the way.
I'm pretty sure he just gets his comeuppance. I don't know what happens in heaven, but I think he just gets crucified, right?
No, Jordan, I thought your background was almost teasing at me from the jump. I'm doing waving my hands through the wheat. I'm doing Gladiator. I'm doing Maximus.
Okay, that was my top one. I love that revenge so much.
I'm doing Gladiator.
And that's
I
another.
agree
I
with
want to watch
Mark.
that movie tonight.
It's another rewarding one with the long fight scene where he really gets to see what he's done.
Yes.
I think what Mark and I like about it is, one, you get the unveil. Like in the moment that we take off our helmet and we know that it's Maximus, he's like, oh no. But then on top of that, he gets his shit beat out of him in front of a crowd for like 20 minutes
Coliseum.
before he. Yeah, it's the best. That's the
that
one I
movie's
was
so
going to pick,
fucking
so
sweet.
I obviously can't argue that. So I'm going to go. Cameron, yours might have been my second. So I'm going to go to one that it's a little weird, but I think it's a good one. It's Road to Perdition.
Oh, yeah, that counts. I mean, the whole thing is he's not exactly trying to get. No, yeah, that works.
Yeah, he takes
it
down
work?
the. Okay, fine. If you don't like that,
No, I'm not. No
he's
veto.
going
here.
after.
No
He's going
veto.
after the entire mob for
he
killing
takes
his
down
family.
the whole mob family. He kills every single fucking one of them.
Except
Yeah. But obviously, with all this, just because you get revenge, and this is something I talked about with Megan, it sucks that even though you get your revenge, sometimes the character still dies.
True, that does happen.
Not on the Count of Monte
that
Cristo.
movie's so good too. I watched that for the first time within this calendar year. Great movie.
I think it's an underrated mobster movie.
And obviously
And
a
then-
Rain movie because it's come up many a time.
Great.
Great Rain movie. Okay, let's go through. Like, this is such a great list of.
Go
Honorable
around the horn
mentions.
with honorable mentions, just so we don't.
I'll
jump
throw this
over
one
each
out
other.
just because I already just did it on the intro, but V for Vendetta. It's in the name.
Yep.
Natalie Portman also, which kind of incepted me with
That's
the idea.
actually high on a lot of lists I've seen.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a pretty big Vendetta movie. Which one, the remake or the original?
I like the
probably
remake,
both,
but obviously
but
the
the
original's
remake I
probably
know
the
the most.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
John Wick.
Yep.
Don't
Name
fuck
your
with
one.
my dog.
I was going to watch the new one.
that
this
should-
week.
I
even
almost
maybe
threw
made-
that on there, but his
If you
revenge.
guys have a thing for the what was the one you said, Cameron? I'm sorry.
Count of Monte
Count of
Cristo.
Monte Cristo.
If that's bigger for you, that makes sense. But I think John Wick should have made the big.
Honestly,
I thought about it.
Do you know what my number 2 was that I should have probably made the list too? Kill Bill. It's the plot of the whole
Yeah.
series. It's all just
That's number one on
every
list.
every list except
and
for
I
ours.
and I get it, but it's not my favorite Tarantino, and I like some of these movies better than that. So
I like Kill Bill 1 a lot. I just wasn't the biggest fan of 2.
The Revenant.
I mean,
say
he
that?
got Leo as Oscar. I mean, the whole thing. Yeah, well, we got to throw it on.
nobody took care of that bear.
Speaking of Denzel Washington, The Equalizer, 1 or 2.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, but that showed up on
He
a majority of the list I saw.
equalizes.
Okay, I gotcha. But like, what's his comeuppance?
That's a Taken movie again, and Taken is
I'm
on this
taking
list
it's on the
too.
list too.
I think those are different ones. Those are. I don't feel like we get revenge as much as we solve our problem.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're seeking some. I guess we're seeking revenge.
And
Like, revenge is a dish best served like long. It's
the
not even
Scottish
cold.
Count of Monte Cristo.
You gotta.
long. Play.
It's not just a reaction. It's like you plan and you see. Anyway,
I did want to have a caveat that I didn't want to let any superheroes on because that's like all of them. They're like it's my origin
Yeah,
story.
or do like Revenge of the Sith. I wasn't going to do that.
Except for 2, I'm counting The Crow and The Punisher because the whole stories are you killed my family and I'm coming back specifically to kill you. I mean, so those count.
The Gladiator. Yeah,
Yeah.
those definitely count.
The Crow and
this one was Meg's, and I forgot about it. But
Punisher.
we've seen it. You guys ever see Promising Young Women
nope.
with Carrie Mulligan? It's a pretty good revenge one. It's like the whole plot. Spoiler alerts. But if you got this far, of course we're talking.
That's what's
spoiler
funny
alerts.
about John Wick, like going in if you don't know what the plot is. That's what's funny about that movie. It's like, you killed my dog, man. You killed my puppy.
All the John Wicks are good, but the first one's so pure and just like it's so good in comparison. I did almost say this one, and tell me if you agree with it. What do you think about The Patriot?
Yeah,
I think there's enough revenge.
It's an action revenge thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
he gets to beat the shit out of him and then kill him and give him a one line. I love that movie.
That's the axe scene. That's the tomahawk.
That's
Carrie.
Is there like
to get into the horror.
Carrie I've seen on a lot of lists.
Also, Last House on
Yeah,
the
Carrie's a
left.
good
There's
one.
actually a lot of revenge horror ones. Kind
Spit
of.
on the Grave. Yeah,
That's all I had on my list. There are a million, but I didn't. Django Unchained.
There's got to be a movie just called Revenge. There has to be.
There was like 2 of them.
Oh, there's got to be.
I
like
don't know
10
what
of
they
them.
are, but they're like, I guess we got to toss these on here. I didn't know them.
Well, there's a million options out there, so let us know some of your favorite revenge movies out there. You can reach us at coldclassicspodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on social media, Cold Classics Pod and Cold Classics Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe to the entire Majestic Jam Network. Urban Hermit, I'm not crazy. And until then, we'll check you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.